Bible chronology. Bible chronology is the study of the Bible by arranging events in the order of their occurrence. This is relevant to Bible prophecy because if we can see a pattern in God's timeline in the past, then we can understand his purpose better. Also, if we can see a pattern to events, then this will help our understanding of things to come. Julius Africanus, one of the earliest Bible chronologists, was a Christian writer called Julius Africanus. He completed a 5-volume chronology of the world from creation, which he placed at 5499 BC, up until the year 221 AD. He lived from about 180 to 250 AD. We only have fragments of his works now, but he was notable for putting the Bible into historical context. One particularly interesting fragment, number 16, was about the 70 weeks of Daniel. He reckons the 70 weeks as 490 years and calculates from the time of the decree of Artaxerxes to Nehemiah, just as Sir Robert Anderson did in the 19th century. However, he reckons the whole 70 weeks brings us to the time of Christ, rather than 69 weeks. He arrives at a year which is the equivalent of our 31 AD. Bishop James Ussher. One of the most famous Bible chronologists was James Ussher, Archbishop of Armagh, Primate of all Ireland, and Vice-Chancellor of Trinity College in Dublin. In 1650, he published a 1600-page volume in Latin covering the history of the world from creation up until about 70 AD. In 1658, an English translation was published entitled The Annals of the World. Bishop Ussher is now often mentioned in terms of scorn at his literal interpretation of the Bible. However, in his day, he was highly regarded, and his chronology of the Bible was constructed with great diligence and attention to Scripture. He established the first day of creation as Sunday, the 23rd of October, 4004 BC, and using Scripture, produced his chronology from that day. I downloaded a copy of James Ussher's Annals of the World from the internet, and having looked through it, I can see that he follows a biblical pattern just as the earliest church fathers did, following a pattern of roughly 2,000 years from Adam to Abraham and 2,000 years from Abraham to Jesus. He finishes with the fall of Judea to the Romans in about 70 AD. I can also see that he sticks to Scripture for the events described in the books of Genesis and Exodus. However, as history advances, his book becomes more of a general history book, displaying his vast erudition on classical history. In general, I think Ussher's chronology is excellent and treats Scripture as real historical fact in a historical context. However, in my opinion, it was unfortunate that from the 1680s onwards, it started to be incorporated in the King James Version of the Bible. The effect of this was that in the eyes of many, it took on the status of Scripture itself, rather than being regarded as simply a work of scholarship. Bible chronology can be a vast subject, but it can also be a simple and rewarding study that any believer can carry out. If you want to do your own chronology, you'll find that the period of 1,656 years from the creation of Adam to the flood is not disputed and can be calculated by simply adding up the years of the lives of the patriarchs listed in Genesis. This has been done by many people many times, and there's no dispute over that figure of 1,656 years from Adam to the flood. Only when we get to the birth of Abraham do the major differences of interpretation occur. Some believing Abraham was born 1,948 years after creation, and others that he was born 2,008 years after creation. The only way you can really have an opinion on this is trying to work it out for yourself and deciding what you think. There is an example of a chronology spreadsheet on the Bible chronology page of the Prophecy Workshop website. So I hope you found this interesting, and thank you for listening.